Hey, what's up, people? This is episode 68 of the Option Podcast. We ain't doing no sponsors right now. Right now, I got the great Kelley Kolinske, and the episode starts right now. Step into a world where there's no one left but the very best. No MC can test. Yes, y'all. We don't stop. Kelley Kolinske, what's good? You got Billy on your diagonal, don't you? You got a big old Billy Bear on your diagonal. Tell him let his hair grow a little bit, and then when we get tired of it, he can cut it again. But that was really.
I don't know if I'll tell him that.
No, you just want to pet him, right? He's like, I'm not a cat. No, but hey, give him my shout out. Tell him I really love covering a beat. It was pretty cool. Him and Miles came in. I think Wendy Jones was there too, like volleyball power mom was with us. Hey, so guys, welcome aboard. This is episode 68. This is the Option Podcast. Kelley Kolinske in the house. Kelley, we were on camera, or off camera, and before we got on the podcast, I guess I'm going to ask the same question on the air that I'm going to ask off the air. Is Pepperdine, in fact, the cool kids' school?
Absolutely. I mean, only the cool kids go there.
Think about all of the cool kids who graduated. Do we need to do the run of the mill? Sean Mayer, the nicest person you've ever met in your life, not on the court. Mm-hmm. Kelley, in your life. Sean Rooney, John Mayer's roommate, right? Bob Stavertley, Jeff Stork, I'm going way back. Mark Dunphy, Dane Blanton. Yeah. Dane Blanton, right? Won a chip there. Did you win a chip with the women's team?
The sand team, yes.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very
in
nice.
2012 and 2014.
In 2014.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that must have been so much fun.
Yeah.
You probably were weighing your options post-graduation. This is my guess. I'm speaking chronologically here. You were probably thinking, should I play overseas in Japan somewhere, or the Italian league, or should I try out this beach thing? And then you won an AVP title at a very, very young age. How old were you when you won?
Oh, that's a good question. I should know this. It was in 2015, so I would have been 23.
Yeah. Bill should be having these flashcards just to save you from yourself, woman. Do your job, man.
Yeah, right.
So you won with actually one of my favorite on-court players as far as killer instinct is concerned and taking your lunch money, Betsi Flint. Mm-hmm. Right. You ended up winning 3 altogether with her, right?
We won 2 together.
Oh, you won 2, and you won with Emily,
yes.
which we're definitely going to get into.
Yes.
So, was that first win a moment where you were like, did that make a lead decision for you, Kelley?
Oh, absolutely. So I didn't originally plan to play much beach after college. So that was my first season after graduating. And I played in the AVPs and just to see what I could do. And then I think after winning that championship in Cincinnati with Betsi, I think that's when I realized, like, maybe I'll kind of stick with the sport and see where it takes me. I kind of had my goals set on my career path, but I think that being successful early on kind of changed that for me.
Definitely. And were you an outside hitter indoor?
Mm-hmm. I was.
Yeah. Okay. Guess that makes the option fun.
Yeah.
par for the course, which happens to be the name of this podcast.
Yeah.
That was the other reason I wanted you on. I said, I need some option ladies. It seemed like a male dominated podcast. And as you can see, 68 episodes later, it's got legs of its own. It's not just volleyball people, but God, I love having volleyball people on because I feel like I'm back. You got to come back home. You know, my last episode, I had a sex podcaster, the guy from the Man Whore podcast. And sometimes sex is not a comfortable, you know, it's not, I mean, and depending on how you talk about it, it's not always a comfortable topic. So,
Right.
but, super necessary because it's sometimes you have these conversations where everybody's thinking it, but no one wants to say it. And sometimes you need two people to just get on and just say it and everyone can just go,
Oh, interesting.
I feel whatever. So on that 50 from the 55th minute all the way to the end, that's when we started talking about relationships. We started talking about why people cheat. We were talking about just being upfront in relationships and what what you want. What do you want? Because nobody wants to talk about what they want because they already know. They're going to the conversation scared that they already know their partner's answer to it. You know,
for sure.
Take these damn handcuffs off. You know, I'll answer it if you take these handcuffs off. She's like, where are we going with this, Jay? No, but I think the point I was trying to make is I like diversity, and you are my first female AVP champ. You know,
All right.
I was doing
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Oh, pleasure. It is my honor, my duty, and my privilege. How about that? You know, I mean, we talked before. You did a call in when I was doing the beat for volleyball 1-on-1. I remember I was asking you like ice cream or cupcakes and all that stuff. You know, like really fun stuff. Actually, I'm in the middle of this. Are you a swimming pool person or a beach person?
Oh, beach. 100%.
Okay. Did you tell Bill that?
Oh, he knows that by now.
I asked Bill. Bill was like swimming pool. And
I
asked Miles, and Miles was like, you know, Jason, how long have we known each other?
Yeah, I know. Billy he really doesn't even like the beach that much. So I'm like, why did you choose beach volleyball? But, oh yeah, I love the beach. I never get sick of it.
All right. I'd like to ask you something that I think I've asked almost every single one of my guests once. And I hate to be repetitive to ask everyone the same question, but at the same time, it would be volleyball malpractice if I didn't ask you this. You're playing juniors, whatever. You're playing high school. Was there a particular tournament? Was there a particular match that you left the tournament or the match and you told yourself, I think I could do this shit for real. I think I can
like
do
in
this.
high school?
Well, high school or college or professional or I want you to think back with me. Coming up in this sport where you were playing and whether you were a volleyball head, whether you were infected with a virus, if you know what I mean, right, where you got bit, no known cure.
Yeah.
But you yourself as an individual didn't see where you fit in it and how good you can be in it. So my question to you, is there a particular tournament or is there, look how I said tournament, is there a particular tournament or match that you left saying, this is what I want to do when I grow up?
That's a good question. I would say probably in college winning in 2012 the national championship. I would say that was kind of the kickstart for me in loving the beach game. Because I grew up playing indoor, and I never really played beach until college. And we had a great coach, an awesome team, and we were really successful. And I think the beach game benefited my skills as a volleyball player more than indoor did. And I just felt like I improved at a really fast rate, and I just loved being able to do like every skill in beach. And I think, just playing that first season and winning that first season at Pepperdine, I think that's what kind of, got me a little more interested in the sport. And like I said, I actually never planned on playing after college until my first AVP season right after college. Winning the championship in Cincinnati. So it's weird because I didn't really grow up thinking I'd be playing volleyball professionally. So,
who was your partner when you won the beach championships?
Kelley Kolinske.
Okay. And who did you beat?
We beat
Don't say it was
in the
Betsi.
finals. Gosh, I gotta remember this. I think it was Long Beach State we played in the finals.
Okay.
Um, and then we played USC, I think, in the other finals in 2014. Yeah, I think
Was
that's what it
Anna
was.
still the coach? I'm curious.
What's that?
Anna, was she still the coach? Because
Yes.
she's someone else. You want to talk about getting someone on my show, man. She is my kind of coach. She's very,
Oh
very,
yeah,
she's
she's awesome.
very,
I
very
had
old
her
school,
as
man.
a high performance coach
Mhm.
when I was 22. We played in the U23 World Championships in Poland. Betsi and I played together, and Anna was our coach. And I did really like her. She was really, really good coach to have. I learned a lot from her.
No, no doubt.
Hmm.
So yeah, and again, Anna is definitely someone I want on on the show because she wears her heart on her sleeve,
Oh yeah.
and I like her coaching style. I'm from the old school, and we have a lot of similarities on and off the court. I also think the ability to not give a F is golden. It's pretty.
Yes.
It's if you are who you say you are, if you got that
Uh-huh.
energy, it's golden. I'm a kid from Brooklyn. I recognize it right away.
Hmm.
And I appreciate that right away. So you are. Let's talk about the Olympics possibly coming up next year, if it happens
Hmm.
next year, or should we say when it happens next year. On the points, where are you right now? Actually, in fact, I think I have a heading, and you're going to tell me. I'm just going to pull it up. I think I have it right here. Tell me if this is outdated. I have something from March that I'm just going to put up right there.
We're the fourth US team.
Okay. You got Alex in
Um,
April, right? You got
mhm.
Kerry Walsh had a huge head start, right? Because I guess when everyone else was playing AVP, she did the smart thing. She's like, girls got to work. Sponsel and Clays, and then there you are. Oh my goodness, I really love we got 4 teams in the top 10. And in a sport where I was fearing that the rest of the beach volleyball world would catch up and pass us, I had cause to pause. So I'm gonna get that thing out of there, whatever that
Okay.
is. All right.
You cut out for a little bit, so I didn't know.
Sorry about that. So for me, I had cause to pause for a little bit because it seemed like the rest of the world has caught up and in many ways passed us, certainly for the men. So it's really cool to look at the
Hmm.
top 10 and see like 4 teams there, and all of you guys want to be in, and all of you guys have this great faith belief that you are the best team in the country. Like out of the
Yeah.
4 teams, all 4 of you are convinced
Uh-huh.
that you're the best team out there, and I really, really like that.
Yeah.
How important was winning Seattle to you?
Yeah, that was an awesome win for us. We'd been playing a lot internationally, so we didn't get a ton. We didn't get to play in all the AVPs, especially leading up to that one. So, yeah, it was our first AVP win as a team, and yeah, it was super special. And there were a couple matches we came from behind, and I had some of my family and friends there to watch, and yeah, it was definitely a special tournament. And that was actually right after we had placed our best finish internationally. We got a silver medal in Poland, in Warsaw. So that was the weekend after that. So it was 2 weeks like back to back that were that we played pretty consistently, and we had a lot of momentum and a good rhythm going. So yeah, it was an awesome win for us. We were stoked about it.
Mm. Do you guys kind of freelance in mid, how should I say, in mid play? I'll give you an example. Let's say you're throwing up a 4 block or whatever, and this and that. Are there some plays where you I'll just say it like I said. Are there some plays where you kind of like abandon the call because you have like a hot read and your partner just backs you up, or do you
Yeah,
stay?
absolutely.
Because there's some teams they're like, nope, that's my call. I got to stay with it because I got to trust the person behind me. But there's also some teams where, as a coach, I call it stunting. stunting it, just stunting. I'm gonna keep saying it until that name becomes ingratiated in beach volleyball.
I like it.
She stunted it.
Yeah. No, our coach is Evie Matthews, and he's really, I feel like the type of coach he is. He's a very situational. He like teaches and works with like situational plays, and so I feel like that's kind of how we play. Is you can't stick to a call if the set's going wide, or if you can see the hitter's not getting her feet to it. So you just got to play situationally, because not every play is going to be set up or the team's not going to do exactly what you think they're going to do. So you have to learn to adjust and play situationally, I'd say.
Yeah, and for me, I would suggest to you that like there is power through repetition. Right, you guys practice like that. You play enough tournaments, and sooner or later, you have this. I don't like to use the word clairvoyancy because clairvoyancy involves something that. No, clairvoyancy. That's correct. Okay. Right. Hey, do you know Claire? Huh? Do you know clairvoyancy? Do you know Claire?
No.
Okay. I know Claire, okay?
Oh, okay.
She ain't changed her last name. Actually, before we talk about changing last names, I actually have a clip of the final play, courtesy of, who is it? Michael Dojanowski.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, I remember that play.
So you've won many, many tournaments in your life, but at the same time, I suspect that you recognize that some are bigger than others. So as far as big moments are concerned, was there a sense of relief when you won that, or was it to some players it's just anticlimactic because it feels like surreal, like you're in a dream, and then it takes time to take it in, and then later on you cry like a baby. So take me back to that moment. This is only a year ago. So
I know, right?
I've been asking you from stuff like a decade ago and telling you, bam, concentrate, woman. Yeah. So did it feel surreal? Was there a level of excitement? Was there a level of relief? And if there's a combination of all of that, talk to me.
I would say it was more excitement rather than relief. I feel like there are some matches and some sets in that tournament where we were just battling and grinding, and we were really playing together as a team and had really good communication between Emily and I and our coach Evie. And so when we won that, I don't think I would say relief. I think we were just so excited because we've been working so hard leading up into that season, and we didn't have the best kind of first couple months of our season. So we were still working hard, and I felt like at that moment we're like, all right, this hard work is paying off, and just excitement.
Isn't it the greatest feeling in the world?
Yeah.
And I'm sure Evie takes that same journey too. Like you after a while, coaches become fans of the people they're coaching, and they just can't help it. It's an involuntary reflex. Okay, it's a beach volleyball erection, if you will. It's anyway. They take the journey with you. So when it's over, they feel like they won too. And I guess the coach in me speaking on that. So did you have a chance to talk to Evie about it, Matthews?
Like afterwards?
Yeah.
Oh, I felt like it was just definitely a team win. I think it was all of us together. It wasn't like just Emily and I won and he was happy for us. Like he was completely a part of that win. So I just felt like it was a full team win for all three of us.
Your fans take the journey with you too. I mean, from the beginning of the main draw, you have these ups and downs. You're calling timeout. You're working out of the contenders bracket. You're staying in the winners bracket. So, do you feel? It's kind of a Hulk Hogan question. Do you draw energy from the fans?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was definitely, even this year not having fans. It was weird. However, I love having fans there and hearing people cheering and giving you that extra energy. But also at the same time, when I'm playing, I'm like so in the zone where sometimes I just everything, like, yeah, just all I can focus on is the game, and I don't always hear everything going on.
Yeah, you got headphones.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I love having like family, friends there, people I see in the crowd and know, and but at the same time, I feel like I just get like super focused where I don't necessarily know what's going on outside, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's always awesome having fans there and family and friends, and it makes, especially a win, it makes it that much better.
Yeah, for me, when I played indoor in Germany, there are some days where I don't hear it. I turn the mechanism on. It was like the movie with Kevin Costner, For the Love of the Game, right? He looks at a fan, and the fan is like, cursing and doing all that stuff, and he turns his mechanism on, looks back at the fan, and he could see them, but he can't hear them.
Oh,
And there were
okay.
some games I was kind of like that, and
Yeah.
most likely games where I'm the visiting team, which is
Uh-huh.
not a real thing for beach volleyball because you feel like everywhere you go is a
There's
home
no
game.
home team.
Or they're all home teams.
Yeah.
Either one or the other, depending on how you feel. And then there's games where you get a good block or you get a good kill, and then you hear the roar, and then whatever. And I had to ask you that because as far as like sustaining their performance is concerned, that's enough to carry someone through a match, and sometimes it's a distraction to some people.
Uh-huh.
You know
Yeah.
how volleyball is a game of ups and downs. Beach volleyball is a game of ups and downs. How do you hit the reset button on disappointments?
Like after, like in a match or like
All
post
right,
match.
I'll give you a situation. You go to a tournament, maybe you're a top five seed, right? Second round, you get eliminated, and then contenders bracket, boom, one off, gone. Maybe looking back Sunday night or whatever, looking back retrospectively, is it something that you just shake off, or is it something that messes with you emotionally? I'm gonna get all personal before
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
personal.
Um, our trainer that we work with, he has a good rule, and I feel like I've been trying to apply it on wins and losses. He says you have a 24-hour rule where after a win, like whether it's winning a championship, you have 24 hours to celebrate that, feel all the emotion, and then after 24 hours, like it's time to get back to work. Same with losing. After a really tough loss, like you deal with it and I don't know, express your emotions or however you do that. And then after 24 hours, it's back to work, back to like the next thing. So moving on. So I like that kind of mindset, and I've been trying to kind of incorporate that. Um,
I like the 24-hour rule. Are you
yeah,
kidding?
yeah,
I've had some teams at the collegiate and high school level. I'm like, this is the loss yesterday. Like maybe a picture or whatever, and I kind of just tear it in half and watch everybody watch me walk to the garbage
hmm,
can and just like, I'm like, are we good? And then everybody's like, yeah, like yeah.
yeah,
All right, well, let's get a little bit more acute. Let's talk about in-game stuff. And this one, I'm not going to talk about. I'm not asking you about winning and losing as much as as I'm going to talk about the pressure of the situation. Um, Game three, 15 up, win by two. How much do you feel that, or do you not feel that at all?
um, I feel like mentally, I try to just take each point as its own. And I try not to get ahead of myself and thinking like, okay, we have to get this point before we switch sides to go on the bad side. Um, but I mean, yeah, I definitely, there's times where you feel more pressure than others. But I just, in between points, I really focus on breathing, um, and just kind of giving myself confidence, and being confident in my abilities, and knowing that I can do anything I set my mind to, and that I've played so much volleyball. And I think just having confidence in those moments is really important, because once you lose that confidence, that can definitely show in your game. So I think, yeah, just taking a breath and taking each point by point, and being confident in your abilities will definitely help for each point.
Got you. And that's what you're talking about when I'm, because I gave you the situation, 15 up, game 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good. I think it's, in a real world scenario, you definitely want to try to treat 15 up like it's 1-1 or 2-2. And like you said, the level of psychological training, whether you have a sports psychologist or whether you just, it happens organically, just experience, right? Winning and losing.
Right.
I mean,
and I think it also depends on how the match is going, obviously, too. Like, if I'm back serving 15-15, am I completely going for this serve? Or am I making them play and trusting our defense? Like, how have I been doing the game, and what's working, what's not? So I feel like it might be each point is played differently, or a 15-15 match might be played different than another match, I guess. So yeah, I think it's kind of situational, in how you, and what strategy you're using in each match at those pressure moments.
Do you have a hang up in those situations? An emotional hang up?
What do you mean by that?
Okay, I'll give you an example. Mixed martial arts. There's a fighter named Uriah Hall that came to his coach at the time, who was Chael's son, and says that he's done all his mental preparation, and he does this, and you do all of these things to get rid of this nervous energy, because some people think nervous energy makes you perform poorly. And then, honestly, in my experience, the players that are nervous, to me, means they're ready. Personally, yeah. I might not want to coach anyone who's not nervous.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm gonna go a little off the page, but I'm gonna bring it back. But if so, bear with me on this one.
Yeah.
Chael Sonnen told at the same time he's narrating and he's talking to this person, they tell you that losing is not an option. I believe that's absolutely ridiculous. Losing is an option. Losing is the most readily available option all the time. So as a coach, you want to teach these players, and I'm only speaking from my perspective, but and I could definitely speak as a player perspective, but I got a player, so I'm gonna wait on you on that. Yeah. So it's like, if you're one of these players that the score is tied, and you imagine a worst case scenario in your mind at that moment, and it seems overwhelming, you just constantly remind these players two things. One, the other team's feeling it too. And two, it's not an unnatural feeling, and I'm asking you because, specifically as male athletes, we don't like to admit that a situation scares us. We don't like to admit that something's too much. In fact, we go to a point where we repeat to ourselves in our mind, or sometimes even out loud, I live for this moment. I live for this moment. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You think you do, right? And some people are saying that, and they remind themselves because they do. And then some people that say themselves and they fail over and over and over again. So us as coaches, we just say, hey, next play, or hey, this it's 1 up, let's go. Or, they can go the other way, negative talk, and have stuff creep up in their head. So you as a player, I'm going to rephrase the question now that you understand how I'm asking you. Do you have a hang up?
I still don't understand what the hang up part means.
Does the situation feel too big?
Oh. Not that I don't think so.
Listen, that's the best answer. That is the most I'm not calling you a dishonest person, but that's the most honest thing you're going to say in this entire podcast. I think you being oblivious to that shows that it doesn't bother you. And so in many ways, you saying, I don't know, does answer the question.
Okay. So I hope I answered that right.
Yeah. And I hope I didn't plant some shit in your head the next time you play a tournament.
Now I'm going to be thinking about it.
This is what Jason was talking about.
Yeah, right?
Damn, I feel like I failed you. I did all of that and she still didn't know. Fail. All right. Now we're going to talk. Listen, let's talk about something that succeeded. All right.
All right.
The big man got on one knee, popped the question. You said yes. You said I do. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about her now husband, Bill Kolinske. Let's do a little chronology thing. Um, Look, I guess when you guys tour, you go on tournaments, you guys meet each other and you know each other. But where'd you guys meet?
So we actually met on one of the volleyball vacation trips.
SOB.
Just south of the border. Yeah, that's right.
By the way, Chantel Crawford, she's listening live. She says,
Oh, awesome.
she
Hi,
says Kelly
Chantel.
and Jason, and I was like, watch your mouth. I got a wife with the same
Yeah.
name. So go ahead, SOB.
Yeah, so we met in Ixtapa in 2016.
Mhm.
Yeah, in 2016. Um, and it had been my first year. It was after my first year on the AVP, and I didn't really know him. I knew who he was, but I think that trip was the first time we actually got to know each other and talked and hung out a little bit. And then after that trip, I was living in San Diego at the time, and he was in Redondo Beach. And a week after that trip, I was planning on moving up to Redondo. And I ended up moving like a few blocks down from him. So yeah, he was kind enough to help me move in. And then we kind of just started hanging out and started dating pretty soon after that. And then he proposed to me during the Chicago AVP in 2019 on Stadium Court on Amazon Prime. So I couldn't say no. Smart.
Ooh, picture of you said no. Oh, I never talk about something a coach doesn't see coming. It's like, oh, she just said no.
It was actually before his match, but it was really special because a lot of our families were there. My whole dad's side of the family is from Chicago, so we usually have a big family reunion at the Chicago AVP, and then his family's from Wisconsin, so it's not far from them. So we had like all our family there, and then he proposed, and I would have never guessed that he would propose in a tournament because he's a very focused player.
Yep.
And it was right before his match too, and I could not believe that he did that, but it was a very special moment. And and then we got married literally right before the shutdown. It was March 7th, and everything shut down that next week. So we were very fortunate to get our wedding in without having to cancel it. So many weddings have been canceled, such a bummer. But we were super lucky to have the date happen right before kind of everything shut down.
Yeah, COVID was like, all right, guys, hurry up.
Yeah.
you guys get a pass, but watch yourself, like, listen, COVID messed with a lot of things, okay? And my father passed away in late February, and
I'm sorry.
my stepfather, but as far as I'm concerned, he's the one that's around, right? Real father you never met, you just say father, but right, so you feel me on that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to bury him, and because he died in Philly, and the same day my best friend's mother died. She sent me a text, and she's like, "Dude, not like it's a competition or anything."
No way.
And it's one of those things you're laughing at the same time, and you're trying not to cry, but you start cracking up uncontrollably because the way she said it, because our lives were, how best friends, there's always a friendly competition, and she's like, "Not that this is a competition, but my mom died." I'm like, how could you do that?
Man.
So you're setting up for the AVP. You're playing some FIVB. COVID happens. Tell our listeners where you were when things started shutting down, which includes volleyball. I'll give you an out and say volleyball.
So I got married March 7th. And then the following weekend, I was heading to Australia for the first FIVB tournament of the year. So leading up to that, Emily and I were going hard. We had a really good preseason. We were stoked for our season because we felt like we were improving and at a high level in our game. And there was actually some players that were in Australia, but the tournament got canceled like 2 or 3 days before the tournament started. And then it was just like a trickle down effect. After that tournament was canceled due to COVID, then the next one, which was going to be in Mexico, was canceled, and the next one, then just every
Avalanche.
tournament was
Yeah,
canceled.
tournament avalanche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was such a bummer. It just, I mean, Emily and I were expecting to be pretty much gone for like the next 5-6 months, just playing in every international tournament, playing in the AVPs. So yeah, definitely a change of plans with that. But yeah, so kind of completely changed our year round as it did with pretty much everyone. But yeah, it was crazy. It was literally 2 days before the first tournament of the year, and then it just everything got shut down.
Yeah, I mean, I interviewed a lot of people like John Mayer, who's the head coach at LMU. I was the director of operations with him the previous year, and he said they were getting on a plane, and and then they said,
Oh,
like
wow.
WCC shut down, so he's trying to like talk whoever the officials are getting off the plane because there wasn't really a point, and they're gonna play Grand Canyon. And he negotiated getting his players off the plane because it was just
Oh my gosh.
there was really no point. So I was lucky
Yeah.
enough to talk to like people who were in each conference, like Dane, same kind of the same thing. They were going to South Carolina or something like that, and he's
Uh-huh.
like, okay, we're not going. So
Yeah.
and Dane, I believe USC won the PAC 2019. John won beat Pepperdine actually.
Oh, okay.
For the WCCs, which
Oh.
I nicknamed the Pepperdine Invitational. It was just one of those things where everybody came there to watch Pepperdine, but John and I had other plans, but,
Yeah.
but me, I left the position because P1440 offered me the commentating gig
Oh, okay.
for them. I auditioned in, I don't know if you remember this, FIVB Vegas.
Yeah.
That was my audition. I actually brought my
Oh,
own, I
really?
brought my own equipment. I have my own sponsors because I don't pay for volleyball anymore. I just told myself when I moved to California, volleyball, you don't get no more of my money, okay?
Yeah.
And then center court shut down and their logistics shut down, and everybody started gathering around the NY Varsity Sports handle, and it was your match. It was you and Emily Stockman against Bansley and Wilkerson.
Oh, is that
It
right?
was,
Okay.
it was, I believe, a quarterfinals match.
Yes, it
Great,
was.
dude. Great match. It was
That
my
was.
look. I've been doing commentating for a while, but as far as like people getting to know me instead of just the guy with the Yankee hat who just points a camera at videos, everybody's like, dude. Someone taps me on the shoulder. Hey, my friend's from Wisconsin. They said they love you. You're awesome. So,
Oh, that's very
if you ever get
cool.
a chance, actually, it's on my it's actually on YouTube too. Just put up your
Yeah,
name or
I'll check it
whatever,
out.
and you'll hear me just walking everybody through the match on what I think you're gonna do next. It was one of my best moments because I had some good future seeing skills, you know.
Yeah.
But what a great match. 4 people that wanted it really badly. Four
Oh
people,
man,
four
yeah.
people that are the best at what they do. I think you're one of the best blockers on the tour. We both know
Thank
Wilkerson's one of
you.
the best blockers on the tour. She touches her
Hmm.
toes and then she touches the clouds.
Yeah.
Heather, great defender, ferocious defender. Emily Stockman, similarly. Everything I could say about the Canadian team is exactly what I could say about the two of you guys. And everybody's like, who's gonna win? And I'm just like, I don't have the first clue. And it's one of the few times I'm not, because I pick a winner and everyone gets upset. Oh, you're not supposed to pick a winner. You're supposed to support everybody. Go kick rocks. Come on, this game is fun, right? And
Yeah,
it is my job to say what people are thinking. All right. That's how
absolutely.
I roll. So you guys get married. Actually, that was an email question. When are we going to see some baby Kolinskis or some alpha babies? Right? You got two super athletes, good height,
Oh
good build.
yeah.
You're one half of two jacked girls. That's what I called you and Emily Stockman. Two jacked girls.
That's right.
Is that something you guys are thinking of down the line because your professional careers are something that has an area of concentration or?
Yeah, probably not for a little bit of time.
Mhm.
Um, just because, I mean, I mean, we're obviously going for this Olympics, and I'll probably be doing another quad after. So the timing of when we'd want to have kids is a little tricky, but definitely not for at least a few years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. How close, as far as points are concerned, how close were you because you guys were completely concentrated on the international scene in the beginning of 2020. Was that because you did have an outside shot of qualifying?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. I got to look at the points again. Dude, let me see if I can pull this back up. I just want to get appreciate and get a good look. Again, this is probably outdated, and you can definitely make some of the corrections. Let me shrink it and do that. So you guys are over here. Oh, wow. That's very doable. Guys, check out, for my people who are watching the video version of this, check out the USA flag. Check out 6,080. And then there's Sponsel and Clay. Clay's right there. And then there's 6,900 is Kerry. And, of course, respectively, 1 and 1A with are the Canadians and the Americans. And, wow, reminding everybody who they are is Anna and Rebecca at the top spot. So shout out to my homegirl, Tina Gradina. She she's
she qualified, right?
Yeah, she's my mentor, one of my closest friends, Aldous Lucis, played for UCLA. He lives in Latvia, and that's his goddaughter. He's her godfather.
Okay.
So there was it's more of that volleyball small world stuff. So
yeah.
And while you guys were having fun at Hawaii, she qualified at Tokyo.
That's right.
You know.
That's awesome.
And of course, Dane loses his best player on his pair one.
Oh, brutal.
It is. Let's talk about beach volleyball becoming an NCAA sport. Isn't that cool? I'm in a podcast and I'm talking about nothing but volleyball for like the first time in like 10 episodes. You know, I tried to drive us off the cliff, but you're a good shotgun. You're not going to let me. She's like, nice try, Jay.
Nice try.
Keep it about the sport. Okay. It becomes an NCAA sport 2015, maybe 2016. Actually, we can name the 4 champions and count back from there. USC, UCLA. That's when it became an NCAA sport. Those are your 4 champs. And then from that point, I noticed all of the club sizes have tripled. You know, I'm with Deron Forbes. I'm in the summer, and we're like the only club that stayed the same. 22 girls, because our emphasis was smaller groups, more personal attention. And then there's some groups that are big because they got the star coaches and you can market yourself, partners and this and that. So my question is, did you see the residual difference in the tournaments? And maybe I can help you answer the question, using like Maple and Craft, like in Hermosa Beach. I don't know if you were there. They finished, I think, 5th. The Norse twins, Audrey and what have you. Chrissy Jones. Played for Todd Rogers at Cal Poly, still very young and this and that. All of these people turned into a bunch of Kelly Larsons. First of all, not Kerry. Second of all, not Larson. Kelley Kolinskes. All of them turned into a bunch of Kelley Kolinskes in a sense that they have early success, if not dominance. So do you see the correlation of beach volleyball becoming an NCAA sport?
Oh, yeah.
And the trickle-down effect. Trickle-up effect.
Yeah, it's at a junior level. It's like, it's crazy. Like when I was in high school, it's just grown so much. Like I can't think of anyone who played beach volleyball like competitively. And now like high schools are having it. There's so many junior club teams all over the US. And that's, increasing the competition in NCAA, and then in turn bringing up the pro level too. So it's awesome how much this sport is growing at the juniors level, and just the talent coming out of college now I feel like is so much higher than it used to be. And just, they're starting younger, they're specializing younger, where I'd say most of the pros, the beach pros now, usually, they played indoor in college and played indoor in high school, and eventually kind of made their way to the beach, where now kids are starting at 10, 11 years old, like super young.
Yeah, led decision. I mean,
Yeah.
they went from exclusively indoor to trying their hand in beach to balancing their time in the beach to just saying to going exclusively to the beach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, big, big. Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys, because there are a lot of players, and this doesn't apply to you, but there are a lot of players who are still trying to win a title. There are a lot of players who are still trying to make the main draw. And then you see this group of girls who have caught up and passed them, just like this windstorm. I have a friend of mine whose name I'm not going to mention. She said she's in the best shape she's ever been, right? And then she lost her first round match, like 21-15, 21-5. And when I saw that, I'm like, man, she said she was in shape, But then I was like, okay, who beat him? Chrissy Jones. It's Chrissy Jones and Muno. It was Muno and Jones, okay? Who made the semifinals. I mean, who made it all the way to the Hermosa Beach semifinals and subsequently lost to Betsi and Emily Day. So I was wrong. I thought I was wrong about her being wrong. She was in shape and she did play well. And I watched the video later. I'm like, she did play well. It was just wrong place, wrong time, man. Chrissy Jones, when she's on a mission. When she is on a mission, she's on a mission. 2019 special year for you in regards to, I guess just being engaged, winning your first title. Having a partner where I assume you don't have to deal with your partner, which is, I don't think that may be a question that either you've never had to deal with or you just don't want to answer. Dealing with not having to deal with your partners is golden. And I guess if you can't speak for yourself on that, you could definitely see other people where they have to deal with their partner. I guess particularly.
I've been so lucky. I played with Betsi Flint for 3 years, and she was an awesome partner. And we had some success too, and then with Emily too. I've been so lucky I've actually only played with 2 people professionally. So it's been nice not having to switch around partners constantly. But I've been super lucky with the partners I've had. And I've had 2 great partnerships, and I'm super thankful for both of them. And they're great people on and off the court. And it's been so easy, especially in beach volleyball. Like, you're traveling with your partner, you're staying in the same hotel room, you're training, you're going to the gym together. So you spend so much time together that I feel like it's such at least to me, it's so important to at least get along and to enjoy the other person, because otherwise that's a long season if you don't. So I've been lucky enough to have great partners.
You're like, what the hell's wrong with this watch? It's still 10:05.
Right.
I also think dealing with your partner helps improve chemistry. I'll give you an example, all right? This might be uncomfortable, but I'm going to say it anyway. Many would consider Emily Day a better player than you. Many would consider Betsi Flint a better player than Emily Stockman. But at the same time, those same people that in the same breath would consider the two of you a better team. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about debatable subjects, and if it's uncomfortable, whatever, it is what it is. I'm not talking about my opinion. My opinion's my own, and for my personal opinion, it's one of you are better than the other, and the other one's not. But I'm not gonna say who I'm not. I'm gonna let you have a little fun with that. Okay. But do you agree? Chemistry is important. They just make better teams. They just make better teams,
sure.
and whether people like it or not, it's not an individual sport. It's 2 people's a team.
It really is. Like, the chemistry you have with your teammate you could be a better team than 2 players that are better than you individually. Like, it's so much of a partnership when there's just 2 of you, and the communication, being on the same page, having the same goals, like all of that is super important to having a successful team, I think. So I think that's huge.
Give me 2 places that you really enjoy traveling to. All right. First one on your mind. Boom, go.
Stade, Switzerland. Most beautiful place. Pretty much every person ends up saying that, I'm sure.
Sarah, I think Sarah said the same thing too.
It is,
Yeah.
it's like you're playing it looks like a painting, like where you're in the Swiss Alps and it's just green mountains you're surrounded by. So it's just a different landscape than you're used to in playing beach volleyball. And it's just breathtaking. And the town is so cute. The people there are awesome. The food's amazing. Just everything's great. That'd be my number one for sure. Number two would probably be, well, I'd say for AVPs, my favorite place is Chicago. It's
like a party, right? Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd there is amazing. It's such a cool atmosphere there. I love the backdrop. I love just the city of Chicago. I usually have a bunch of family there. The deep dish pizza, obviously.
I'm dying over here, Kelley.
Yeah, right.
I'm dying. As a New Yorker, I'm dying over here. Please.
Oh,
yeah.
You're more of a New York style.
That's how I was born and raised. There is no bastion of hope here. I'll actually tell you in a minute, but I want you to finish because I'm talking more than you. That's crazy for this podcast. But go ahead. So you said
I would
Chicago.
say Chicago would be my favorite AVP stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before I talk about pizza, my favorite stop is New York.
I like that one too.
Because I'm born and raised there, Brooklyn, and most of my life I lived in the city. I lived in Harlem for 10 years, and then eventually bought a place on the Upper West Side, which in New York is a must. You shouldn't, if you're gonna live in the city in Manhattan, you have to rent. You have to buy. You can't rent. It's just you're just throwing your money away.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it particularly last year because when I moved here to California, I had some particular goals. I wanted to coach a player that was an AVP champ or will be. That was Rafu. I wanted to coach a team into the main draw that's never been in the main draw. That was Earl Schultz and Jake Arudia, Big Pearl, the big fro. Yeah. By the way, when you want to talk about nice people, everyone says that about you, but I think if you knew nothing about him and had to guess, you'd be right as far as the kind of person you think he is. Everything you think about him, you're right. He is a sweetheart. And there was definitely some emotion when he qualified in Hermosa Beach, which
I bet.
Which, by the way, was my birthday. So it was just a great all around. Neither team, Jake Arudia and Earl qualified. Kyle Friend and Duncan Buttinger came in as the qualifier with the 1 seed. And when they got ousted, I was like, guys, you are not going to have a better opportunity. They were in our bracket, right? And I'm like, guys, boy, sometimes if someone gives you a bone that I don't give a damn if you think it tastes good or not. Eat it.
Just lines up.
Eat it. And I was right. Look, the next qualifier in Chicago, they had to play John Hyden and Theo Brunner in the last round. Come on. And then Huntington, they had to play Diaz and I think Diaz and Gonzalez, the team from Cuba, who is very good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Those
did you travel to Cuba?
Qualifiers are brutal.
Yeah, it's the Gladiator Pits.
Yeah.
It's the Gladiator Pits. And I think my popularity came from me just going there because there are these matches that will never be, if I don't tape them, you're not going to see them.
Right, right.
I'll give you an example. It was 2016, Rafa Rodriguez and Kevin McCulloch against Kame Schalk and Reed Pretty. Qualifier match. Derek Olson and Paul Lottman against Eric Baranek and Matt Proser.
Yeah, wow.
Qualifier match. Basically, all of Billy Kolinski's matches on Manhattan Beach. I ended up following him because I coached 3 teams that he had to go against. I coached
did you?
Rob McLean and Rob DiAurora. And I told Rob, I'm like, look, I know how to beat him for one set, but when they figure it out, we got to figure it out, And they're like, people heard me, this guy thinks he's going to beat him the first set, and I did. We beat him the first set, 21-17. But Billy's really good at cracking the code. They cracked the code, and they won the next 2, and then they beat Jake and Earl again. Another round, and then the first round they had to play Rafa and Ed Ratledge. So Eric Baranek's like, I love you, Jason, but I don't ever want to see you again.
Yeah, right.
You stay out of my life. So, in fact, I went to the tent in that one.
Did you?
Yeah, I can't sit in the box. Well, Ralph and I can't sit in the box with those two. So you said Switzerland. You said domestically Chicago. Very, very good choices. I am so jealous of you or envious because when I went to Switzerland, I was in the army and we didn't really have time to stop and enjoy it. We were on a train and you see the Alps, you see the mountains, and I'm like, can we just stop the train? And they're like, son, we're on a mission. Son, we're on a mission that you're not allowed to talk about. So no, we're not stopping. So, but my favorite place overseas I went to Barcelona for the Olympics.
Oh, very cool. I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah, and I'm a night owl, so a lot of the clubs they don't kick you out at 2. They go all night till like 11 in the morning.
That's what I've heard.
They kick you out at 11 in the morning. It's like breakfast. Breakfast.
On to the next day.
So who's the team that you look forward to going against the most? 2 jacked girls. Which opponent gets you jacked to play? First one that comes to mind. Look at you thinking. Look at you trying to think around it. What was the first team that came to mind?
I always like playing any of the Brazilian teams. It's always a battle. Like, I feel like every time we play, whether it's Agatha, Duda, Maria and Carol, Anna Patricia, Rebecca, I feel like it's always a battle. And it just goes back and forth. But I always look forward to playing those teams. They're some of the best teams in the world. And it's always great playing. I mean, the Brazil Federation is stacked. So any Brazil team you come against is going to be pretty brutal. So I love playing against any Brazil teams.
Actually, I'd like to plug in a match and we can talk about it a little bit. Because one, it was a while ago and I think I'm testing your memory to its limits. But 2, I think if I just show it, it kind of brings back some things. Let's go to World Series of Beach Volleyball 2016. You're playing Larissa and Toledo. And I just want to know if you even remember this. Like, why you're upset.
The dichotomy of serving Kelley and Larson, regardless of where the pass goes, winds up on top.
And this is also a testament to how long you and Billy have known each other, have been with each other. So I'm just taping a couple of plays because I can't find the specific play that is the inciting incident, which kind of shifted the momentum of the match.
Number 1.
Okay, sir, for everybody listening
20-13
on the audio, I'm going to turn it off because that's only fair. Look at you all zoomed in. You're like,
I like it.
I know, I was trying to listen.
That's what we're looking for.
So basically what happened in this match, Kelley, was it's game 3. You guys,
number 2.
I believe, traded side outs for 7-7. And for some reason...
And they got it. They got the score wrong.
And they got an extra point.
I could not believe that in the third set, and we kind of had some momentum. We should have been up on that side switch.
Yeah, so because the side switch was 7-8.
They argued with the ref and said the score was different. And Betsi and I were like, what? That's not the right score. Oh, that was so brutal. I remember that.
Yeah, it's too bad because I was trying to zoom in on the part where you guys were kind of like, hey, knock it off. But there it is. Actually, I think I got it. I'm going to try one more time. Bear with me.
Talisa, and there's the switch.
I'm saying there's a switch.
I would have rather switch at 6-4, but just the same, it's 5 up.
Oh, 5 up. All right, let's zoom
It might have been
ahead.
a later switch.
Yeah.
And escorting it out of bounds is Betsi Flint.
Yeah, it's another switch.
It's the 7-8 switch.
Yes.
Ties up a set 7-7.
It was supposed to be 7-7.
Score is 7-7.
And they're doing an early
I think
switch.
it's a switch.
No, 7-7.
And you can hear Bill Kolinske behind me.
8-7, 7-7.
No, it's 7-7. That's not right. 7-7.
We're gonna talk about it.
What's there to talk about?
Let's get to the bottom of this.
Oh, that was so annoying. Oh, I was
Let's get
so
to the bottom
pissed
of it.
off.
What comes after 6, you dorks?
As I was saying,
Okay, I gotta turn it
off.
off. I'm busting people out now. Did you hear that?
Man.
I'm like, what's there to talk about? What comes after 6, you dorks?
Yeah. They were so adamant on that too, that the Brazilians were, that was the right score, and it was not. Oh gosh.
Well, I got
That
2
was
things
brutal.
from that, just looking back retrospectively, because if I have to talk about in the moment, you'll never get to talk again the rest of the podcast. So I'll consolidate it to 2 things. One, they screwed up on center court where it's in broad daylight, right? Of all the things you can mess up, whether a ball's out and in, whether there's a replay challenge or all this logistical shit. You have, line judges, this and that. The easiest GED diploma thing to take care of is the score. The easiest thing to remember is the score. And anyone that's watched the game or ref the game long enough and understands the rhythm and how referees don't interrupt the rhythm of the game would know that it was basically 13 straight side outs.
Yeah.
It was all side outs. No one scored a real point. And the second thing I got from it, and this one you're gonna love, was Billy your man back then? This is 2016. Was Billy your man back then? Because did you hear?
He was.
You heard me, but you also heard someone else.
Oh,
Who
I
was
heard
it?
him.
Say it with me. Who was it?
That was him. That was Billy Kolinske.
So those are examples of things I was talking about, things that change momentum, how it affects you. Do you still play it like one up? Do you understand what I was getting at before? Like a little bit,
okay.
like there's certain things that it motivates you. Because I think 2 plays later, you got an ace on the block. And when you got the ace on the block, I thought it was you just trying to get your momentum back. And I thought you guys did all the right thing to get your momentum back, but they eventually sweated out and won by 2, which sucked. But just an example of like how, I don't know, someone decides the game for you. It sucks.
Oh gosh, I know.
Yeah, I'm so glad you can still smile. And Bill married the right.
It's taken me a while to get over that one.
Bill married the right guy. If I had Bill on this podcast right now, he's going to be like this.
That's true.
Like this, like a penny with a hole in it. This, my man, is hopeless. Is hopeless. Who's the best conditioned athlete you played with? Is it Kelley? Is it Emily?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah. We our trainer that we have, Mikhail Jenkins, we've been working with him for the last 2 years, year and a half to 2 years, and he just pushes us beyond our limits, and he's an incredible trainer and mentor to both of us, and he kicks our butt every time we go there. It's brutal, but I think he's made us the most conditioned team out there. And he's just given us so much confidence through what he's put us through in workouts, where we just feel super confident in ourselves and our abilities. And so super thankful to have him on our side.
Are you a vegetarian or vegan?
No.
Okay, cool. I like to talk about diet tips all the time and this and that. You don't know me long enough. When I got out of the military, I blew up to 265 pounds, right? Then I got married. Me and my wife split. And then instead of just making it crush me, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to, I was in the Army. I want to go back to school. I think I want to do this. And I think, you know what? All this weight is killing my knees as an indoor player too.
I
lost 60 pounds. I took a year and I lost 60 pounds. And the way I did it, Kelley, was I was eating 5 times a day, smaller portions, as opposed to twice a day, no breakfast. Just that simple thing. I knew how to work out. If you're an Army guy and you went to airborne school or Ranger school, this or that, you know how to work out. You know how to run. Stairs. The dunes don't really mean nothing to me. Is there, as far as like your diet and your nutrition, is there just a food that you eat a time of the day? Like, 11 o'clock, gotta eat my balance bar, or it's 12 o'clock, salad, some chicken. Is there?
I think it depends on the day, obviously, with our training schedule. So I think time-wise, it's not always exactly the same time, but I feel like it's around similar times. I would say I eat a lot through the day. And I like to have kind of a high protein diet. So I eat a lot of lean meat. I have a high veggie diet. So I eat a lot of greens. But yeah, I'd say my diet is mostly high protein, I would say.
Yeah, it's repair, right? Yeah.
But yeah, I would say I eat pretty clean and pretty simple. And I've been eating pretty much similar type a similar type diet for the last 2 years, ever since I've been working with the trainer I have. He has a kind of specific meal plan he likes his athletes on. So I followed that. And I think diet and nutrition is very individual, and you kind of have to figure out what works best for you. And I feel like I've figured out what works with me and what I play best on, and how I perform at my best. So yeah, I think that's helped me out in the last couple of years as well.
Yeah, it's so important. Listen, and you stumbled our audience onto something very important, that it is in accordance or in conjunction with the individual. It's so important, Kelley. Boot camp. Out of boot camp, I came out of basic training 199 pounds, and they're like, dude, you're 6'1", so you know your height, you should be 195, and I'm wide-shouldered. I'm wide hips.
Yeah.
I got wide hips. Kelley, right now, I'm 211 pounds. Do I look 211 pounds? No, I don't, right? Look, we can go on. We can, hey, talk about people go out drinking. We could do some eating, okay? We could have an eating competition. So you're so right. And I'm so glad you mentioned like the high protein, and you mentioned certain things that are supplement. Emily, the same thing?
She eats pretty clean. Yeah, she eats really clean. I would say she has a high protein diet too. She says she gets bored with foods easily, where for myself, I pretty much have the same dinner every night. Like I make the same dinner, the same lunch, the same breakfast. I pretty much eat the same thing every day. And it's very simple and easy, and I actually still enjoy it. So, where she says she gets bored with food, like eating the same thing. So she has a little more variety in her diet, I think. But yeah, I'm pretty simple when it comes to nutrition, and I eat pretty much the same thing every day. But I like it, and it works for me.
Allow me to translate that from our audience sitting at home. Ladies and gentlemen listening, for you to be in the best shape of your life, you have to be bored with your food. It has to be.
Yeah, it might have to be.
Look, when I lost the 60 pounds, Special K in the morning, any kind of source of vitamin K, banana, or what have you, any kind of salad for lunch with protein, any kind of carb before I worked out. If I didn't play volleyball, I was running. Riverbank State Park in New York has this beautiful track and field, night lights, football field. They have indoor volleyball courts. You want to talk about great players, man? These guys from Dominican Republic, uptown, are like off the page. So for a year, that's all I did, like every day out of the week. And like you said, I don't call it a diet. It's just what you do. It's a way of life. Diets for fat people. Sorry. And Emily has pretty much the same thing. Cool. My boss wrote a book called Dr. What Should I Eat, which helped me. Foods that you can use as fat burners. Actually, foods you can use instead of supplements or medications. You want to lower your cholesterol? There's garlic garlic powder. You're looking for a fat burner? Don't take a fat burner as a supplement. We're Californians. What? Avocado is the top number one on every medical professional's top 10 fat burner. Dark chocolate is a fat burner. Turkey legs, that's a fat burner. Who knew? Never mind. Cinnamon, that's a fat burner. So what in your diet that do you use? But I mean, protein again is repair. What in your diet that you think you take helps you with your natural health and your volleyball performance?
I would say I eat a ton of greens. So I think that has a lot of nutrients. I would say I eat more carb heavy when I'm in competition. When I'm training, I eat higher protein. But yeah, like I said, I eat the same thing. I literally eat the same thing pretty much every day. And yeah, I feel like I've stuck with it the last couple of years, and I feel like it's worked for me. My body and recovery and everything has felt better than I've ever felt. And so I know what I'm doing is working for me.
What'd you have for lunch today?
For lunch, I had a spinach salad with chicken, broccoli, avocado, and some brown rice.
Great source of iron.
Yeah.
Guys listening, cold spinach. Spinach loses its nutritional value when you cook it. So a lot of its nutritional value when you cook it. So science people, I can drop a whole bunch of science. I can talk about carbs and everything. Again, I worked in a cardiology practice for 17 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow. It really shows I'm old, right? Kelley, I'm 50. I don't know if you knew that. I'm 50 years old. So
I didn't know that.
yeah, I drank the Kool-Aid, right? I don't look 50, right? I look like
Not at all.
I look like a unattractive 35-year-old. So yeah, so I have spinach salad in my house. And occasionally, like you said, it's so boring. Maybe you mix some kale, like you buy like the mixed greens, because if you live in the South Bay, they're gonna sell mixed greens with baby spinach together. So I definitely do that, and I'm definitely a protein guy. I was anemic. I don't know if that's a permanent thing, but I started, instead of taking iron pills, I got more red meat in my life and more spinach, and the anemia went away. So,
wow.
So or you could take iron pills, which the side effect it like hardens up your poop. It, makes your crap like really hard or whatever. So, because to me,
red meat.
The real saying is like for every cure, there's a bit of poison in every pill. There's a bit of poison in every cure.
I can see that.
You take Lipitor to lower your cholesterol. You ever see the commercials? Side effects, right? And they try to talk about it as fast as they can. Side effects are I mean, they make you so fucking scared.
Yeah,
that's true. Look, you see this commercial, Kelley. You're like, and the commercial says, Kelley, do you go to sleep at night and get up in the morning? You're like, shit, I got that. I got that disease. Bill, help. Okay, the team that's stylistically been a stylistic matchup nightmare for you.
Matchup nightmare.
Isn't that an awesome question to someone who knows she's the best?
Well, one team that we haven't beaten is one of the Dutch teams, Madeline Meppelink in Kaiser.
Kaiser, yep.
And they play a pretty wide offense, a very aggressive. They have a really physical game. Great servers, but they're super physical players, and I think that's one team we haven't beaten that I would like to see again.
And just kind of right, just notch that on your wrist.
Yeah, exactly.
I get paid to ask the tough questions, and these are, I mean, you're a competitor, and in order to win it all, you do have to eliminate things you see on the horizon. So
yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, Kel, that's all I got. I mean, I kept you here as long as I could, and you survived. You survived me. You make me not want to ask you tough questions. I'm like, she's too nice. I can't do it.
Oh, please.
If you listen to the last episode, you'd be like, oh dear. If I listened to that, I would have never came on today.
I know. I might listen to it now.
Yeah. He's a sex podcaster. And he started this podcast because he couldn't keep a relationship. There are girls that would date him and just one off. Hey, I want to be a friends with benefits. It was like something that 9 out of 10 guys enjoy, but sooner or later a guy wants a relationship, right? So he started the podcast interviewing 14 girls that just gave him the one off, and then it had legs of its own. Now he's interviewing sex therapists, he's interviewing porn stars, which, like I said, is an uncomfortable thing for some people and this and that. But for me, it was super necessary, because if this podcast is to provoke thought using sports, entertainment, current events in health and wellness. Just like having you on the show, it would be podcast malpractice for me if that's who I am. So
sure.
Right. I mean, COVID happened. Guess what I had? I had a vaccine specialist on a month later, Kathy Penner. You know, my major in college, my BFA is in acting for Marymount Manhattan College. That other Marymount. I have actors on the show. I'm gonna have people who are suffering.
Yeah, wide variety. It sounds like.
Who are not performing because of COVID. You know, so
very cool.
And I'm so glad I have you on the show. And I know,
thanks for having me.
I know you're hungry right now.
I'm starving.
It is 6 o'clock in the evening, and I got a little munchkin at the door waiting to give me some pizza. I got a 4-year-old. I'll actually text you a picture later. She looks like Queen Daenerys when she was a baby. Like if you could picture Game of Thrones, like big blue eyes, like yeah. And before I go, for the people listening at home, she has a look that men don't have, that only women have, but men know it when they see it. When a woman is angry and she's grieving at the same time, the look is this. Like, I want to hit you, but I'm crying. If I do, I think I'm going to cry. And for my men out there, if you see that, just if you can be somewhere else, good for you, be somewhere else. But she has that. I don't even remember Game of Thrones when Cersei tried to surrender and ring the bell and like surrender, and then like Daenerys is like, you know, you just lopped off my friend's head, and it's like surrenders, and then she went straight Dragon Lady, right? Dragon Lady. She didn't go crazy. She went Dragon Lady. So but hey, let's finish with that. I'm gonna run my thing. You know, my little promo thing at the end, but stay with me after. I just want to thank you personally. Okay. But for everybody else, for all of you at home, for all of you on your iPad right now, for all of you on your dinner line with the cord, for all of you with the desktop who runs the world, old school, for Kelley Kolinske. This is episode 68. I am Jason DeBeas, and I say, we're out.